back to And Just Like Yap, everybody. I'm Caroline.
I'm Andy.
We've come to a summit for a very important reason. If you have been with us on the channel, we just finished recapping Season 3 of America's Sweethearts, the Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders on Netflix. And we are here to bring you up to date because, as we know, this most recent season, Reddit was the fourth character. So we had to bring in our own DCC historian. Welcome to your ears, a corporate entertainer, one of our greatest musicians from Chicago, now in New York, Kathleen Butler-Duplessis, DCC historian.
Oh my gosh. I've never gotten to use this knowledge before. I'm so excited. I normally force it onto people. No one's ever asked.
Well, and you know what? Now it's a tax write-off.
Oh my gosh, thank goodness.
Okay, Kathleen, how are you feeling before we get into all this current stuff? How did you feel about Season 3 overall?
I loved it. I mean, I've watched every season of the CMT, which we'll get into later, multiple times. And on Pluto TV, there's a channel that just has 24-hour stream of the CMT show. So you can pop in and check in on the girls at any point. Are those girls
that's amazing.
Yeah, 24 hours a day.
Yeah, that's a hot tip.
Yeah, are these girls getting any royalties from that? Of course not. But do I like to come every once in a while? You got to check in on the girls. So yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I started watching the actual football games when the CMT show got canceled. So that I'm in deep at this point.
Yeah. I would like to know, how did they come to you? How did the girls find you?
Well, they found me on CMT. In the olden days, they had what you called cable. And you had a remote control. And sometimes you didn't know which was which. You didn't know what was going to play. And you would just click through. It's kind of like scrolling. And then you'd call it, clicking. And I discovered this show and I immediately hooked and would wait for it every season. And then in the pandemic is when I was feeling depressed like everybody else. I was like, you know what I think will help is because I also was the first thing I thought is what's going to happen at training camp? What's going to happen to my girls?
Not what's going to happen to the rest of us. What's going to happen?
Oh, how's Gina going to survive? I need Gina's veteran season. And then when I found out they got a bubble. They did a bubble that season. They had a COVID season. And
I was curious about that.
And the Gaylord Texan, did someone eventually get COVID at the end? Yes. But they attempted a bubble at this hotel. When I found out they were having a season, I thought, well, what better time to go back and watch every single season in sequence. So I think there were 18 seasons of CMT and now 3. And the CMT show is very poorly produced. They literally because they don't pay for any royalties. So they call it their signature dance instead of Thunderstruck because they will not pay AC/DC for it. So they call it, and then they just play royalty-free electric guitar music, which is also the music that they play in the background of Home Depot commercials. So it is a wild place to be. And so to have Netflix with the beautiful cinematography and the Delta Dawn and they really tell a story feels wonderful.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure you were excited about the Netflix version, but was there part of you that was oh, now everybody's going to know about my secret favorite show?
Because it is bringing more people in. We we like a big tent, and they never would have gotten that accomplished. And so it is now more people know why someone like me is obsessed. And there is just so much more richness. There's a rich history and tomes to really come through that I feel it is my duty to help people understand. Yeah, it's not so much a superiority thing, but it's not.
Have you gone to a game?
No. I know. I need to make it happen. Fun fact, I did go to the Dancing with the Stars tour because I'm also a big Dancing with the Stars head. Not as deep as DCC, but in between, we did IVF, in between the implantation and finding out if I was pregnant, and I was just going insane. And I was I guess I'm going to drive 2 hours to rural Pennsylvania to watch the Dancing with the Stars people. But yeah, I wanted to see the DCC tour. It's we'll make it happen. We'll find a sitter.
All right, before we go back in time to CNT, we got to talk about our present day rookie cheerleaders, our new girls. I think we spy some familiar faces amongst what we just watched on Season 3 on Netflix. Most notably, Emily A. and Savanna without the strawberry blonde hair.
Yes.
That is actually the biggest as someone who is a fake redhead, that was just a crime against humanity. That she deserved a class action lawsuit.
Kevin did her so dirty.
It's happened before, and it was a bad blonde. But they turned her like dark brown, and it looked like, I can't remember her name, early 2000s. And she looked like when Ursula comes back as Princess Vanessa. Like it was too severe. So, and Kelli as a redhead likes to turn others into redheads. But usually that's what she does with like a mousy brown haired girl.
Sure. Which makes sense. I mean, I was so relieved to see Emily and Savanna in the lineup.
Thank God.
Any other big notes? I know any other from Reddit. Was there any other stuff that you noticed?
Well, there's one other girl who we all missed, and I even missed because I've only watched season 3 once, which I will, I'm sure, get to it again. But there's apparently one of the girls who was cut in that like big montage of, hey, we're just going to cut everyone at the last minute. And there actually wasn't anything wrong with you, but we're going to cut.
Was it
She's
Bree?
in there some Bree.
Yeah,
Bree.
Bree.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But I'm so excited for Savanna mostly because she is like an old girl. She went to the DCC youth camp growing up. Like she is what the old girls used to be like. Like she would do it at the old rate. She would do it for $15 and a free Diet Coke on the bus. Like she
For Jesus.
She would do it she would do it to serve for an audience of one for him.
Yeah.
Capital H.
Yeah.
We know we're famously losing Reese. Do we feel like, is Savanna like the second coming of Reese? Or
The thing is, they all are. I mean, not all. There's like a very heavy evangelical. They have a DCC Bible study that was started years ago. Claire used to be the head of it. May she rest. She's not dead. She's just off the team and married to a Baltimore Orioles player. She had taken it over from someone who did it before. Also hosts a podcast called Sweet as Honey. 10 out of 10 recommend. And she interviews lots of former DCCs, lots of like current DCCs. She's definitely had Reese on the show. And it's all about their faith. Fascinating though. Fascinating.
I did see that Savanna took some time to go study fashion in Paris this past year.
She Kelly Kapowski.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, it seems that after she was cut, she did, I don't know what the program was, but there were many, many pictures of her seeming to have a wonderful, luxurious time apparently studying fashion in Paris. So much so that I was like, oh my God, is she even going to come back and audition? Because it just, I don't know. It gave her Instagram told the story of like, this is my new life now. But
as someone else who went to Paris to solve their problems, I will tell you, it does put a Band-Aid on there. Sometimes a trip to Paris, really a good croissant under those sparkly lights, it does do something to us. So Anna Kate got a veteran makeover, which was a big, because the veterans don't normally get makeovers.
And I think it's because, so she has been at a lot of the World Cup events that they've been doing. She has been point of the triangle. Now, for some reason, the fandom hates Anna Kate. And I honestly think in a way that they don't hate like Sophie or Carly, like some of these women who you just like, I don't care if you're a sociopath. I like looking at your face. And I think that Anna Kate doesn't get that from the fandom. There was also rumors that like she was one of the few people who like didn't fully commit to their efforts in getting a pay raise for the team. 'Cause she has a full-time job. She works in finance. Also, I think where some of the resentment came from is they made her a group leader in her 3rd year. Like there were other more senior veterans who were not made group leader, and Anna Kate was. And so I think people took issue with that. And then she was also spotted as the point of the triangle at some of the World Cup events. Now, breaking news, they've announced the points for this season.
Who are they?
Sophie is the first point. Okay. And then Marissa is the second point. And she just did all like the Fallon appearances and all the stuff. She's just one of the more senior. But so I think that they were trying to like, if Anna Kate is going to be point, if we're going to like keep making her such a like important part of this team, we gotta give her some extensions.
Yeah. I'll say
she looks better.
I like the extensions.
She looks great.
I like the extensions, yeah.
Her sister Caroline was the point back in her tenure. her tenure. She was the year before the Netflix show started.
Because I remember the plot line of Caroline on the first season was that she was just finishing up DCC. Anna Kate was coming in, and Caroline was undergoing surgery from what DCC did to her body. Is there anything else you can point to as to why people don't like Anna Kate, like other than?
I honestly think it was it's that she didn't. They assumed she didn't help with the pay raise, the severe bob, and the getting a thing over other veterans.
Yeah,
it's a getting a thing over other veterans. And honestly, they're all beautiful. And Anna Kate is beautiful, Bob or not, or whatever. But, then you look at, Sophie, who looks like a straight-up Barbie doll. And so I think also people are very, especially for who's going to be point and who's going to get these things, I think people are just harsh.
And people love to hate a woman.
Yes!
So we got to have one. If in a team of women, we got to hate one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also we don't see maybe she's really good at spacing or remembering choreography and teaching it to people. Or there's a million things that she's probably so good. And if you asked anyone on the team, they're like, well, of course they made her a group leader because she's blah, 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 blah. But the Reddit psychopaths are from my cobbling together of Instagram stories, I think this, and therefore.
Right.
What do we think the makeup is of the Reddit? Who do you think is populating the subreddit?
Well, listen, I don't comment, but I lurk. I love to lurk.
Oh, I'm a lurker. Yeah,
when I'm feeling down, I say let me check on my girls. And I think, I don't know, because they do get stuff right in there quite a bit. So, and the girls are obviously aware of it. So I don't know if they have burner accounts, if they're friends, if people who just, who knows? But I think it's also probably a lot of sad boomer women too. Mm-hmm. She said as an elder, we're getting closer to these girls being more my daughter's age than contemporaries of mine, but and I'm
they're lifelong contemporaries, no matter what. We will always be contemporaries. Which leads to the giant controversy of training camp. Carly was cut.
Justice for Carly.
Justice for Carly. She was going into her 5th year.
Yeah, would have been.
Going into her would have been 5th year. If you remember, Carly was briefly mentioned during season 3 when they were discussing, do we need to get rid of a veteran so we can make room for more rookies? And Carly had repeated hip injuries, but that is not what has led us here today. Kathleen, do you want to give the rundown?
Well, so from what I gather from the Reddit swamp is that firstly, they were never going to cut her that season because they wouldn't have made her second group leader. She was a second group leader for season 3 of America's Sweethearts. They have cut veterans in the past. It happens. But it's usually very rare. If they're going to cut you, they usually will do it at finals, which is what they did to her this year. Because the rumor has it is that she made a complaint about either Charlotte or Charlotte's daughter or both. Because Charlotte's daughter now also works for the DCC. Yeah, we got 3 generations of Joneses running this thing.
I mean, that's the least surprising information about the Dallas Cowboys.
Not to defend nepotism, but I will say Charlotte's daughter, who I'm blanking on her name, but she did take a full-time job at University of Texas for a while. So they did make her go out and work in a different sports organization and learn the ropes over there. So I'm sure she is a perfectly competent human being. The rumor is that Carly complained about something regarding Charlotte or her daughter or both, and that's why they cut her.
That sucks.
And I don't know, and I cannot wait to find everyone doing the TikTok trend of them sitting down to be interviewed. I cannot wait to get Carly mic'd up and sitting down in that chair and finding out what happened. Because Netflix has the majority of the control over the story they're telling, which is why I was shocked when the Netflix series started, because like some of this stuff would have never come out if it was,
of course,
you know, the Jones family, or Kelly's the one that made the CMT show happen, because her background is in marketing in addition to being a 90s
that
DCC.
makes sense.
So it'll be interesting if we get to hear from Carly. I was listening to some of your America's Sweetheart episode, and how they all do Thunderstruck at her wedding. This poor girl got married like a couple weeks before auditions and did God. Thunderstruck unknowingly for the last time at her wedding.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's tough to hear.
No.
Oh my God. That's actually harrowing to think about.
Yeah, I'm also pretty sure Carly did the tour. Oh
my God.
I'm pretty sure she was on tour. So Carly was in like the dead zone of no CMT, no Netflix. So I don't know her as well as some of my other girls, but she seemed to have been really well respected by her team.
I'll say there was a Reddit post I found from one of her family members where they talked about what happened, that essentially said that, she'd had a meeting and she didn't know she wanted to come back for her 5th year due to the toxic environment staff caused at times, which this is a toxic organization. I guess you know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
The only reason she wouldn't get leadership is if the team didn't vote for her, which they did not see happening. And she was adored by them and her teammates, and that they were excited for what she could do and accomplish as a leader. From that post, also, it sounds like the Netflix producers didn't know she was going to get cut.
Yep.
And they gave no heads up. It was not Kelli and Judy's decision, and they did not cut Carly.
Yeah, it's got to be Charlotte. But it's also like someone like her, she's going to be rich no matter what.
Yes.
So
Correct.
There's no public, and she's also going to be Dallas fine. It doesn't matter what internet trolls think of her. Dallas society, she's still a Jones. She, and they also don't care about Carly, They don't care about any, she has her place in society. She has more money than she'll ever be able to spend. Why would she care what people who watch a Netflix show think about her?
Yeah, I do. I have hope that the Netflix producers will, or maybe currently are, for season 4, interviewing Carly, following along with this, trying to get some answers. They've got to be, because that's going to be the juiciest. There really wasn't in this 3rd season. There wasn't a hell of a lot of really juicy nuggets of dramatic things. So they're probably pursuing that for season 4, I would imagine.
Well, I imagine the thing that was with season 3, the big standout, I think is the fact, because this was, like we said, it was the first season that they, since it had aired, I just think in general, everyone was very aware of how they were coming off.
Yeah.
I think this was very much, I'm aware of my public persona and how I'm being viewed. So I think maybe because will be the season after that, maybe they'll relax a little bit and we'll get to see more of that authenticity.
Yeah.
I think again. Before we get to CMT, Kathleen, I want to know, how do you feel about Kelli, Judy? What do we feel about the dynamic? What do you...
I mean, Kelli is smart as hell. And she is a marketing professional who also did this and who took this team from nothing to this huge superstardom. And you gotta respect it. And Judy, I mean, they are, it is fascinating. I know that you were talking about a little bit of the assumed politics of the both of them. And I think Kelli also, the one thing I do miss from CMT that they don't do anymore is they used to do an interview round of auditions, and they would ask them questions like, who's the commander-in-chief? And people wouldn't know the answer to that. Or who, and sometimes it was super niche Cowboys team stuff, but sometimes it was who's the owner? And in front of Charlotte Jones, they'd be like, I'm not sure, Dayton actually, her first season almost didn't make it. Her first season auditioning almost didn't make it because Kelli asked her if she had voted in the last election, and she said she didn't. And it would have been her first one, turning 8. She was like, when'd you turn 18? And she had just turned 18 and she didn't vote. And Kelli has always said, like, I hate stupid. And, like, her reasoning in the show is, like, these girls do appearances. You don't know if they're going to be sitting down next to dignitaries. They're not sitting down next to dignitaries. They're doing appearances at, like, grocery stores. They're doing, you know, car dealership, you know, they're doing corporate events. But they're not sitting down next to foreign I mean, Klein was interviewed for the World Cup because she speaks fluent Japanese. And she was interviewed by Japanese TV. So, like, occasionally you do get stuff like that. But, like,
right.
Like, my mom is similar. Like, my mom hated the Spice Girls because she came from the brand of feminism of the 70s of, like, we weren't allowed to do anything. And, like, and now you girls are, one, calling yourself girls and not women, and also wearing this, like, you know, slutty clothes or whatever, which, like, modern day feminism embraces of, like, you should be able to wear whatever you want. But she's like, her and Kelly's generation had to fight so hard to be taken seriously that, like, I don't know. I have a love-hate. Not even a hate. I get where they're coming from. I also think, especially, I could see Judy retiring. I think ideally you'd see Judy retire first. They get a new choreographer. There's lots of fantastic veterans, like Kashera, who at former point Kashera went on to, she's the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, there's a couple of them who have gone on to coach different college programs. There's Jen is one of the, like, people who does a lot of the prep classes and who's, like, a big deal in Dallas. So, like, there's plenty of people who could handle the choreography piece of it and then eventually see what happens with the business side of things.
So Dayton's mom is on the payroll as an assistant choreographer.
She leads the warm-ups, babe.
Because I was very confused about why we didn't see her, like, at all after Dayton gets cut at finals. We never see her again. And I was like, if she's on the staff and she's on the payroll, like, where is she in the organization? So I'd be very curious.
Yeah.
If they would promote her or if there's, like, bad blood there now because of the whole Dayton thing.
I mean, I think all of that is more irrelevant of, like, if Judy's going to retire and we're replacing her, I don't want to replace her with, like, a Judy light. Like, we need a new generation. Because also, like, when you think that Kelli and Judy started 8,000 years ago when they were in their early 30s or what, you know, like,
yeah.
And especially dealing with all, like, the social media and the this and the that, which I think they are handling for an organization being led by people of their generation to have even jumped on it this much. Like, that takes a lot.
Caroline's dying to have a glass of Pinot Grigio with Kelli Finglass.
Oh, I would
not
do
Pinot Grigio, I want a Sauvignon Blanc is what I know.
Give me a buttery Chardonnay, a Pashmina, and a sitting by a lake with Kelli. I mean, I love that woman.
Look, if there's anything I miss pre-COVID, me and Kathleen going to the ArcLight, going to the Mariano's downstairs and getting a movie theater pour.
My favorite
And then we
bar.
go upstairs, and then Kathleen puts on her readers so she can see the abs.
Yeah.
Of whatever man is on screen. I miss it more than anything else from pre-COVID.
I get it.
My favorite bar is a grocery store, and the wine is $3.
So this takes us to CMT making the team lore, as we've now said it was on for 18 seasons.
Yes, I believe 18.
18. So that was 2005 was the first season?
It might even been before that. No, because it stopped. It went up through 2021. They did a COVID season and one post-COVID.
When I watched season 1, there was a funny mirror shot that I sent Kathleen. It was like no food. Someone put on their mirror they're like no food now or something. Because this was when they were really into because there was a boot camp guy that used to be on. Jay, and he put them in what looked like an astronaut pod that told them their body fat.
No.
They all had to put on bikinis and get in like the pod, and then and then have their body fat percentages like read out on TV.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it was. And they would also like at that final auditions, like if you think what they're doing today is bad. You wouldn't survive.
No, it was
like they would zoom in, like they would be doing the kick line or whatever, and be like, and then they'd be like, "Do you see Selena? Do you see she did not come back. She did not come back uniform ready. She did not come back uniform ready." And that was their big thing, and that's why they cut most of the veterans. Is like, you got to tone it up, and they would zoom in on people's stomachs, just like being stomachs. You know what I mean?
That's awful. Oh, that's
it was
so
wild.
Awful.
And then they would like slow down the sound effects too. So it'd be like, fat lady. Like it was, they would zoom in and change the sound effects to highlight how quote unquote fat these women were.
Oh my God.
And also, it shows up on the big board. So yeah.
Yeah. I guess that leads into like my question then. What else? Okay, because obviously that's a huge shift from CMT to Netflix. What are other big things you've noticed that have shifted from CMT to Netflix that we do not see anymore?
Yeah, so much. I guess it also goes hand in hand with Kitty Carter. And she would stomp into these rehearsals and have them do like classical jazz technique across the floor. And also it was a time when these girls, some of them were okay studio dancers, but some of them were like just really hot and kind of dance a little bit. And so like, and like that's when Cassie Trammell, Judy's daughter, was on. She was an all-star cheerleader, like, like cheerleader, tumbling and stuff. She was never a dancer. And even she admits, I wouldn't have made this team. So Kitty Carter, owner of Kitty Carter's Dance Factory, would come in and have them do. And then she would also help people. You could like pay her for pre-audition classes and like advice on your solos to all the like rookies or whoever wanted to have like a preview of their solo. And then she would give you the most horrifying notes you've ever heard to like, you need to be sexier. You're too, you look like a slut. Like she would really she would find the thing you were most insecure about. Like, that's why your dad left. Like she didn't say that, but like, it was as though she would find their deepest, and she would make these girls like trauma bond with her, because then like the ones who got cut, people would go back to her for classes. Like Kitty Carter's Dance Factory is like where you'd go in between seasons to get ready for the next one. And people would talk about how much she's and she really does have that like, I'm going to break you down to build you up mentality. Oh, yes. Which is like so toxic. Been there. Yeah. But it's so of a time. And like she would also come in like talking about the weight thing. There was one where she would come in and the women would always be like, oh no, Kitty's here. And because she would line them, she said, Selena, Jasmine, Kristen, all of you are not uniform ready. And like I'm not saying you're fat, but I'm saying you need to tone it up. And like she would make them stand and a line in front of the rest of their team to call that specific group of women fat. And then like those girls too would get called into the office and be put on like probation from their uniforms until they got their bodies together. Mind you, training camp is like a couple months. And like these girls weigh, I don't know, 115 pounds. So if you want them to lose 10 pounds, that's 10% of their body weight. And
in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
Figure it out.
And and Kitty was like, because Kitty was on the team with, I think the same time as Kelli. Maybe a little earlier.
Okay.
So Kitty was also a DCC in like the 80s, 90s. And she's like, I mean, I got to work on it too. It was that whole, she's just, but like, yeah, she go, okay, chaînés across the floor. They're never going to do chaînés. And like, she just, the classic.
Just unlocked the word chaîné just like unlocked a memory that I didn't know was still buried in my
and she would just, shout at these women and then have them do classic jazz technique. Yeah, I mean, talk about like, we can't let Charlotte on camera. We cannot let Kitty Carter. You'll see her. She is one of the judges. Her and like, you know, the owner of Whataburger and a local anchorman and the Lucchese man.
There was a meteorologist the first season.
JC, former DCC, and Rockette. You know, you're getting Jackie Bob, you're getting a realtor, you know, you're getting some of the greats.
Casey Musgraves is here.
Yeah. Also, Casey Musgraves was a guest on the CMT show. So, you know.
Oh, really?
But yeah, so
I'll say it was funny rewatching the clips because I forgot she called their cash and prizes. You gotta hide your cash and prizes.
Meaning
dancing.
Your butt and your
your vagina.
Oh.
Yeah. Your vagina.
Kitty Carter and her dance factory are, I mean, she's just...
Can I take classes with her still? Let's look.
Probably. Yeah, you can go to Kitty Carter's dance factory.
What, are you feeling too good? Are you feeling too good about yourself?
I actually, during said pandemic, I took a Zoom class. I got on Zoom and former Point of the Triangle Maddie, also Mormon, was teaching, I believe, at Kitty Carter's Dance Factory, but maybe it was just through DCC. And I took a class from my living room.
That's incredible.
That is so good.
I just flailed about. I turned my camera off and I flailed about, but like Kelli was in there. She was killing it. Like you got to see some greats, some real greats. And the thing, this was before the pay raise, and what really depressed me is Maddie offhand was like, "Oh yeah, the girl I babysit."
Yeah.
And I was like, you are one of the greatest we have. So
okay, I'm on kittycarter.com.
Yeah.
And under alumni, it says, Kitty Carter's extremely proud of all of her alumni. Her students have succeeded as choreographers, attorneys, models, doctors, makeup artists.
Yes.
Wonderful.
And like some of them, one of them, like Evan, who was a guest choreographer a lot on the CMT show, has choreographed for some like pretty big pop stars and like made it pretty big in LA and came out of Kitty Carter's Dance Factory. Listen, the factory produces. So yeah, she was a force throughout. But yeah, she's not made for Netflix because she is wild. Also, like all the body stuff leads to my precious Victoria, who we all fell in love with season 1.
Before there was Dayton, there was Victoria.
So Dayton auditioned once, and I think didn't get to training camp because she just didn't have it. Then the year that Victoria made her first season in training camp, so did Dayton. So they were there together. Dayton got cut first, and Victoria was and that shook Victoria up because like normally they do try to get legacies, you know, because this is also when they're shifting into like over the course of CMT, you do see them shift from hot girls who can sort of dance and a couple of like studio dancers to like competition born and bred dancers who are willing to do this job for little to no money. And Victoria's kind of both. Like she is a beautifully trained dancer and a legacy and like, you know, born and bred and breathes DCC. But she auditioned the first time when she was 18. So that was also part of it. It's like this poor girl's 18 years old.
Yeah.
And some of it is like maturity. Like they ask some of the veterans, like how does she give good locker room is sometimes the thing that they'll ask like the veterans about a rookie. Like they really at that time cared a lot about like the cohesiveness in the locker room. And like sometimes would take that into account of like, this girl isn't like her kicks aren't great, but boy, do they root for her and they love her. And so, you know, but also when we see Victoria on America's Sweetheart and she's, you know, 22, 23, she's still in a twin bed with her point shoes behind her at her mom's house. So,
yes.
like,
and she also, I remember, was kind of, even though she had been on the team for a couple years at that point, at least the story, the picture that was painted in season 1 was that she did not really get along with many of the other girls on the team and that she felt kind of like a loner among them.
So her first season, she's 18, she's a little, and like her dancing is beautiful, but it is also a little like crazy and not as refined as some of the more experienced, but she still has so much power and so much talent that you're like, well, sure, but it can be reined in. And also she's technically above so many other people, but she starts to put on a little weight during the season and they call her into the office to say, and Kelli's like, now let's just say it because I don't want it. It doesn't have to be anything more than it has to be. It doesn't have to be a big deal, but you're up 11 pounds from auditions because they weigh them every week. I don't know if they still do that, but they would weigh them weekly. And so you're up 11 pounds from auditions. And in the CMT series, anyone that they called into the office for like being fat now, they would say, your uniform fitting, or you're up, blah, 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 you're out of, and then they would just pause and like have them like explain why they're fat.
Oh my God.
My other favorite thing, quick sidebar, in the early days too, like when social media just came out, they would call girls in for like bikini contest pictures that they posted on Facebook, or like them at a party or whatever, and have them explain and get mad at them for that, while the bikini calendar that they shoot every year is behind them, which cracks me up. They'd be like, you posted this.
Oh my God.
And they'd put like whatever bikini or wet t-shirt or whatever it was, and then behind her is the swimsuit calendar that, but yeah, so she called Victoria and was like, it doesn't have to be anything, but you're up 11 pounds since auditions, and people are noticing. Or it's noticeable, something like that. And so, doesn't have to be anything, but so we're going to put you, so then she trots in Janelle, who is now working on the administrative side of the team. And Janelle is like maybe 100 pounds soaking wet, but looks like that's just, and it had been her body the whole time. She's just a very thinly built person. Yeah. She's a long and very lean person, and has been this her whole life. And they're like, we're going to put you with Janelle, and she's going to give you some resources, and then it won't have to be a big deal. So we're just going to put you with Janelle, whatever. So then they go back to training camp. She's still killing it as a dancer. She's one of Travis Wall. I don't know if you're familiar with him from So You Think You Can Dance.
I know Travis Wall. He also was he Britney's choreographer too?
Possibly. He also did UDA's, the Frank Sinatra one that won 2 years ago for Ohio State, I think it was. But like,
yeah.
Yeah, and has his own dance company. He's like pretty big deal. He is like a big deal contemporary choreographer, like knows his stuff, comes from So You Think You Can Dance. And Victoria is a phenomenal contemporary dancer. And he's like, she's one of Travis's favorites. Like, she's still killing it as a dancer, but still a little bit sloppy around the edges as a dancer. Like,
sure.
With just some DCC style things. But also, she hasn't lost the weight. Theoretically, she's probably whatever. It's not so much about the weight as so they bring her into the office again, and they say, "Why haven't you responded to Janelle's messages?" Mm-hmm. And so it's not. It's a little bit about the weight. Like, it's certainly a little bit of about the weight, but it's mostly about, we gave you a professional resource, and then this person who is on payroll for us tried to put you in contact with the nutritionist or whoever Janelle was supposed to hook you up with. And you know that Victoria's like, Janelle doesn't know shit about this. I know how to eat cottage cheese and grapefruit before my pageant, do my lemon and cayenne water, or do whatever disordered things I've done my whole life when I need to do it. And I'm going to do that. And I don't need a 98-pound Australian to explain to me how to lose weight. That's what she, I'm sure, wanted to say. But what she did say in that meeting has now burned a hole into my spirit. Is she simply says, I don't like the situation I'm in.
Same.
Fair.
Same.
And just like, there's so many times when I don't like the situation I'm in. And she is 18 years old, having just been called fat by her mom's best friend, told to lose weight,
right?
Told to get weight loss advice from a woman who's never been fat or had any issue with weight ever, has never tried to diet or whatever. And I'm 18 and I'm in front of these women again. And it is mostly about, we have a profession. You can't just ignore someone from staff.
Right.
What she should have done is say, yeah, I'll make an appointment with a dietitian, and then done whatever disordered thing she did to eventually lose the weight anyway.
Right.
Well, yeah, because then Victoria struggled with, she got very, very thin.
Yes.
And then of course they had the whole conversation with her of like, you're not, make sure you're fueling your body. It's like, you can't win.
Gave her the eating disorder or flared it up. They flared it up or affected it and then got mad at her for having the eating disorder that they gave her. And then it gets towards the end, they have to make more cuts and they decide. And I do think this one was a really hard decision for Kelli. And because Tina Kalina was Kelli's best friend, which according to Reddit, not after that cut. And so they, and this is her mascara is just, and it's also as they're panning back and forth between Kelli talking and Victoria talking, the mascara just slowly gets more and more unhinged as it just streams.
It's like all the way down her neck.
But I think Kelli was also like, we could put you on this team before you're ready for it and be yelling at you the whole season and have to like have all these issues with you all season, or we could give you one more year to get yourself ready. Yeah. So And then we see what happens. Then she makes the team at a very small size, then takes a mental health year off. I don't know if that was for eating disorder issues, for whatever, who knows. She took a personal year off, came back. And then the way justice for Victoria, and who knows, like what really, really, really happened, why they seem to be so cold to her towards, don't bother auditioning. She is in New York, which I'm determined to take her class at some point. She teaches here and there.
Her
and
classes look fun.
I'm dying to go. She's auditioned for the Rockettes at least once. But like Rockettes is also incredibly, like it might even be harder than DCC to get into. Like it is very, and I do, there's a height, but I also worry about going from one team with strict body standards to another. Like the Rockettes are pretty diverse racially. They have a girl with a missing hand. They have like limb difference, and she's always, they're always pushing her out front, talking about how accepting they are, but they've never had anyone a size 4. You know what I mean? So like,
no,
I do. Not. And she's got a beautiful body, but I worry about her being put in another situation.
But at least from what you can tell from social media, it does seem like she is happier and healthier in New York. So it would be sad to see that take a turn
and go
again.
back.
Yeah, because the Rockettes are also a team where they're all the same size. Watching them, the stark difference between when they had Faith in and they were mad at her about her professional PR team arranging press in coordination with DCC press. Like Faith is a professional. They didn't have that then. They had Victoria at age 18 who just did DCC camp 3 years ago. They didn't have professional people. They had people who had dreamt of this their whole lives as little girls and who don't want anything but to disappoint mom, who is Kelli and Judy. And now you have someone like, if Faith got cut or they fired Faith for her interview or whatever, they need Faith almost more than, like DCC will survive the play.
Yeah.
But like, but Faith doesn't need them. Faith has however many Instagram followers and, like she, and even before DCC had quite a following, like she was already working professionally. This has taken her to a new height, and I'm sure she's expanded, and like the brand deal she's going to be offered is way more. But like she's a professional. She's not an 18-year-old child seeking your approval. And like Kelli tried to give her, well, like, now how will I know I can trust you? And it's like, I don't know. I signed a legally binding contract. Like, what do you want from me? But like they, in those early CMT years, in all of the CMT years, that was part of it, is like their approval.
It doesn't weigh as heavily anymore.
No.
Because these women have other opportunities available to them, which I think is good because, God, like thinking about that Victoria story and just like remembering like the mothers of friends of mine when I was 18 who said some pretty shitty things to me, or like dance teachers, voice teachers.
Yeah.
I think about that and I'm like, God, that shit was so damaging and it stays with you forever.
And just like, and when you were so in a system, like even just like regional theater. And I remember auditioning for regional theater outside of Chicago, and it was for like Mary Poppins. And the director they had brought in from, I think, New York, and she was very Kitty Carter coded, very like, we gotta be cunty and mean. And she goes, how's your dance? And I was like, oh, well, 1 to 10. She like cut me off. And then it was like, yeah, and like, okay, we're only doing 8 bar, you know, like, it just like so harsh. And I'm thinking, ma'am, you are directing Mary Poppins next to a Cheesecake Factory. And this show,
I love a Cheesecake Factory.
I do too.
Of course.
And I have cried about what 32 bar cut I'm going to sing to be an understudy swing alto in Mamma Mia next to the Cheesecake Factory.
Correct.
This is insane. Yeah. And when you realize that, like, when you can like take a step back and realize that there's so many other opportunities and the world is so much bigger than some of these institutions, or not even institutions, but like little pockets, it's like none of it matters.
It's like Netflix has given these girls more agency.
Yeah.
That's what it's really like, I think if anything, it's like it's given them power. Like, as we said at the top, without Netflix, they wouldn't have gotten a pay raise. Like, I think that this has allowed a visibility and a more long-term financial solvency and stability for these women.
And they also have the talent now, too. So it's a combination of the both. Like, there's rumors of, like, is Reese going to do Dancing with the Stars? And she was teaching, she did an appearance with Derek Huff. If she, you know, like, and she does have the talent to do these things. If she could sing, she could be in Chicago. She could certainly dance as well. Like, a lot of the current DCC women can dance just as well as the women on Broadway.
Kathleen, we have a question for you related to that then.
Yeah.
We discussed a lot. Why don't they have understudies?
Oh my God, with DCC.
Great question. Yeah. And this brings us to season 17. No, I can't remember the exact. There was one season where they just could not decide between Meredith, who was Kelly's like special project that year, who had like the most beautiful
special project.
And normally it's funny because like how Emily was a special project this year, but Emily was like beautiful dancer, needed the DCC look. Normally she finds the most beautiful face you've ever seen, who's like not necessarily the most powerful dancer. And that was Meredith was a like magician's assistant dancer who had done like jazz.
Sure.
Gotcha.
Okay. Which, so like she was a beautiful woman and a fine, okay dancer in Kitty Carter's traditional jazz style, but not in palm power dancing, and also did not catch on the choreography very quickly. And so, and she didn't make it a season before. And then Lily, who also was like beloved in the locker room, not as quick on the choreography, whatever, but they just like could not make this cut because they liked these women too much. And so they kept a squad of 37. And also that year, like they had already had a couple injuries happen like during the training camp process. And so they were like, well, why do we keep bringing in all-stars? So let's have a squad of 37. But the psychopathic thing that they did to them was it was the best 36 each week got to do the game.
No.
So no one was like,
God.
So no one was designated a swing. It was, we're going to take all 37 of you and it'll work out that someone's injured one week or that XYZ has happened, or like there was a year that like Janelle, she had like a visa issue, and like there are times, it's very rare, but there are times that people have to miss games for stuff. And so it's and guess who proposed that idea?
Charlotte
Jones.
Yeah.
She Dance Mom pyramided that every week.
Yeah.
They had a 36-person Dance Mom pyramid.
Yeah. And then cut to the COVID season. the same girl, Meredith and Lily, and this girl, Brennan, and Hannah, who then went on to be a lovable Chicago represent, they cut 4 veterans from the training camp from the COVID bubble over Zoom.
Oh my God.
And that was like the shift of, but the thing is, when they took Meredith on that team, when they took Lily on the team, they weren't up to the dance standards that this new generation of people were ushering in. Kind of similar with Brennan. Like, some of these girls were people who had auditioned time and time and time again, and then finally eked in. But yeah, they cut 4 veterans over Zoom. But the thing is, the rookies that made it that year were some of the best dancers that the team has ever seen.
Yeah.
Now, it also was said that, like, Hannah, who is and was a beautiful dancer, that she got cut because she had some complaints, and Brennan, too, had complaints about, like, how the COVID of it all was being handled and the measures and the safety and the... so it was a real justice for Carly back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, they tried out having a 37-person squad, but it wasn't like... I don't know why they don't do... And that would be smart to have, instead of just the All-Stars, which, like, the All-Stars is great, but also when they bring in an All-Star to, like, sub in, it's just for Thunder. I don't think they cheer the whole game because they don't know, like, all the sidelines.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So they just do Thunder, which has to have that. But, like, everyone has to change the formations on the sideline stuff, too. So it would be smart to have, like, 2 vets stay on as swings.
Yeah.
Vacation and understudies, you know?
Yeah, they would, and they would love it. Like, these women would do it. They would do it.
Savannah would have done it for free instead of going to Paris.
She would have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but honestly, I think it would have to be a veteran sticking around because the skill of that is someone who has to know everything in and out.
That's true.
That makes sense.
That's true.
Kathleen, who are some of your, if you could pick, like, your Mount Rushmore of DCC cast?
Okay. Holly Powell, who was talk about a redhead bob. It was like bright red.
Brave.
She's one of the best dancers they've ever had, but she got kicked off the team for rumors of dating one of the players.
Interesting.
And her
intrigue.
Yes, and her best friend / group leader Jenna, who is also phenomenal. Then they got mad at her for not stopping Holly from basically the story that they told on CMT, which I'm sure is an edited version of what happened in real life, because who knows, they're not going to get into details. But Holly was like maybe 20, maybe not. She was definitely not 21, and was at a club, and some of the Cowboys players came in, and they're not allowed to fraternize with the players.
Right.
And so, like, they got word. And so the story is, when the players walked in, you should have left the club. And how did you but really what was the underlying, like, thing was the rumors, the nastiness, were that Holly was dating one of the players. And they then got mad at Jenna for not stopping her from doing that, and took point away and took, like, a special appearance away, because this is the time when you have to please your moms.
Yep.
You can't disappoint them.
Yeah.
But Holly is and was one of the best. Now she does real estate next. Claire. Wow, I'm picking 2 redheads now. Claire, who you saw as an all-star, pop back in. And she has her Christian podcast. And she's just like a beautiful dancer. She's just a beautiful dancer.
I love that. Okay,
I want to say Jackie Bob. Firstly, that her name is Jackie Bob. And
is that her last name? Is that her second name? Her middle name?
Both first, Jackie Bob Pearson. And Jackie Bob Pearson now does real estate and philanthropy. And she is like, she's a beautiful Black woman. And she was like not one of the first. They actually, like, is the diversity incredible? No. But is it for Texas? Pretty great. And they've always also had it, like Like, there were Black women in the 70s. There were Black women in the 80s, Black women in the 90s.
And then your final one. That's 3. So we got one more.
Now, part of me wants to say Kashera. So I think I'm just going to say Kashera. Firstly, her name's Kashera. Now, Kashera... Well, oh, no. Well, yes, and I'll have a swing for Mount Rushmore. Okay, but Kashera is...
We have understudies here.
Yeah. She became, after the Holly got fired, Jenna got in trouble for not convincing Holly to not date a player. They made Kashera, who at the time was only a third year veteran, they made her point. And she's from Kentucky, and she talks like she's a little more like, oh, I could change your oil. Oh, that's how they say it in Kentucky. I could change your oil. And like and I bet you she could wrangle in a steer. And she was just like the life of the party. And she seems like but now coaches the Miami Dolphins cheer. Also, recent lore, Ariana, who you might remember they cut for being short season 1, saying she looks like a little girl.
Yeah. She
joined the Dolphins, has retired this year, and they're unfollowing each other. So there's drama there. And I don't think they have a Reddit, so who knows what's happening. But Kashera is just like iconic DCC. And then my swing, because truly I think my favorite is Kat, who she was on a little bit season 1 of American
Yes,
Sweethearts.
I remember Kat. Oh, I loved her.
Yeah.
She's so funny. I just want to look at her face. I enjoy her. I just think she's the best.
I loved her personality on season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not only was this a powerful Leo summit, all 3 of us Leo women on the cusp of Leo season, I feel like I could bleed white and blue right now from Kathleen. Really, thank you for bringing your talents.
That was amazing.
You know what? Anytime. And now I'm also in on the football lore. So like, we're seeing parallels of like, they got rid of Micah Parsons, who is possibly one of the best defensive players. And I think part of it was like, oh, you want us to actually pay you for your expertise? Go to Wisconsin. So like, there's
we don't do that here.
We don't do that here.
Yeah.
And that's
in
the
Texas,
thing.
we don't pay you. Yeah.
Because you're supposed to want to do it so bad. It shouldn't matter if you're getting paid or if you're winning. Because people are still gonna buy the merch. You know, like
it's true.
It all goes back to Christianity. It's all that. You're doing it for the love of the game, the love of the Casey boots.
I think they did make some coaching changes because they were like, okay, we can't quite. Their fans are at a brink of like, and also like me as a fan of the football team, Claire doesn't deserve this. You could have been in the playoffs.
No. Kathleen, thank you so much again for joining us today. Where can people find you? What would you like to plug?
I'm on Instagram, Kathleen Sing Stuff, and TikTok, Kathleen Sing Stuff. And that's probably it.
Well, and I'll say one of the greatest joys you can do following Kathleen is every Christmas we get the 12 Days of Christmas carols. And thrilled about it every year. And I'm about to repost my favorite video of Kathleen on her birthday when she did a jump split doing Bad Romance. And it was really much like the Thunderstruck girls. She can do a split on her own time.
I can do a jump split. I don't have the height of the DCC, but that's why my labrum's intact, you know?
And we love that. So thank you so much again for joining us, Kathleen. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for our supplemental crash course on the DCC and the current state of things and where they were before Netflix. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And we'd love to see you in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking. And we'll see you soon, everybody. Bye-bye.